let's get into the slide bit. In terms of the agenda, we're going to start with just a very quick where and why. So how is Rapid Refresh being used in organizations and for what purposes? Then we're going to jump straight into the demo where Bobby is going to wow us with his Excel spreadsheet download, upload, rapid refresh, rebranding skills. Everything is going to happen live in front of your eyes. It's going to be an amazing experience. So strap in. We're all looking forward to Bobby's demo. Then we're going to look at some use case examples. So already, for those of you who attended the last event, we weren't entirely sure the panacea of use cases that are going to be applied for Rapid Refresh, but already we're seeing some really exciting, and interesting ways that the tool's being used. So we'll share a bit about that. And then we'll wrap up with just an overview of some of the resources that you have available for you, and also a Q&A. So just to get started, Rapid Refresh itself, for those of you who aren't aware, who haven't been touched by our marketing, I guess you probably have, or you wouldn't be on this webinar in the first place, is a super cool tool that we just launched. It's essentially a tool that allows you to download and upload an Excel spreadsheet that you populate with questions. You set the cadence. So when do you want to start this thing? When do you want to end it? How many quiz questions do you want to send weekly, daily? For the learners themselves, they see it. It takes precedence over all learning experiences in the app, so they can see when new Rapid Refresh questions appear, and they're told about when they need to complete those. It's a really simple quiz-based tool that allows them to test their knowledge. If you want to incorporate reinforcement, it can be used for that purpose as well. And for those of you who are interested in kind of gamification and some of the more competitive elements, this can be tracked and linked to the leaderboards as well. So Bobby's going to show us all of this in a second. In terms of where and why Rapid Refresh, like everything at EdApp, this has been an organic innovation built from our customer demand. And then, developed in collaboration with a broad range of our customers. The core reasons for deploying Rapid Refresh are around reinforcement. So post-event, it's a fantastic way of just being able to kind of get it out there and remind people about the learning that they undertook while in a training event, a virtual event. Soon, with the vaccine, we're going to have physical events also. So really cool tool for reinforcement. Great for performance. We're seeing sales enablement being a really regular use case at the moment. So, we taught you some foundational skills or a new way of working or a new process that we want you to undertake. Now what we're going to do is at a regular cadence, we're going to test whether you've applied it. So you learnt about this. Have you had a chance to try it out yet or not? And then that can start a whole feedback mechanism. It can allow you to look at the productivity and the performance of your learning investments also. Compliance, the dreaded compliance. Everyone has to do their annual refreshers. We've got some really forward-thinking organizations who are looking at how they can use quizzing to reduce the burden of annual recertification and compliance training. We have, for example, Deloitte looking at doing this for mitigation of annual compliance. It takes hours per user every year. When you're a business with more than 100,000 employees, the costs stack up real quick. So, super cost efficient business case opportunity there. And then the final bit is around capability. So, again, with the reinforcements that you can incorporate into the learning, you can not only test the general knowledge, understanding, competence, capability of your organization, you can also take active steps to start reinforcing it and building that learning. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Bobby now. So I'm just going to stop sharing and Bobby is going to do the practical demo for us.
Great, Jamie. Thank you so much for that intro. All righty. All right, so here up on the screen, we have our courses page. For those of you that are familiar with that app, this will look very familiar to you. The only difference being is now we have some of these contact cards that say rapid refresh on it. So that's how you'd be able to tell between, what's a regular course, such as this managing leadership stress course, or a rapid refresh here, okay? I'm going to get into some of those use cases that Jamie had mentioned earlier on. But right now I just want to create it from scratch so you guys see what it looks like. So I'm going to hit this rapid refresh button right up here. And then I'm just going to hit let's get started. All right. So now it's going to have you select if you want it to have one session or if you want to schedule it over a period of time. If you do select the one session, it'll get published automatically and go right out to the Learners app, and it'll only be one session. If you click on space sessions, which is what I want to show you in this demo here, it's going to schedule it over a certain amount of time. And what's really cool is that it's also going to automatically adjust it, depending on if you say if you wanted to change anything later on, or if you wanted to, extend it out for a certain amount of weeks longer than you originally intended, it'll automatically do it for you, which is awesome. So I clicked on space sessions here, and I'm just going to click on next now. And here is where you would determine how many questions you want to upload, and if you wanted to do it daily or weekly, and for how many weeks or days you would want that to happen. So for this demo here, we're going to select 5 questions. We're going to pick weekly, and for weeks, we're going to type in 3. And now you'll see that this popped up here and said that we recommended uploading a pool of 15 questions, which is great because we have 15 questions. However, if you mess around with these numbers, say if you want to make it 2 weeks, they'll say that we recommend uploading a pool of 10 questions here. So it really does a good job before you even upload anything to, recommend the proper schedule for you, which is awesome. And again, you can switch this to daily if you want, but for this demo, we're just going to do 5 questions weekly for 3 weeks. So they'll get 5 questions every week for 3 weeks. Then once you're done with that, you're just going to click on download template. And it's going to bring up an Excel file. And just give me one moment to bring this over onto the screen here. Okay. And give me a moment to zoom in here. Okay, so here we have 3 tabs down here on the bottom. So the fill me out portion is where it's going to pop up as by default to this tab. And this is where you're going to input all of your information in. The first tab here, it's just a basic set of instructions on what to do. Pretty much telling you, that this is the file that's going to download. The maximum number of questions is 100, and that to make sure to use the fill me out tab. The second tab here is an example. So here, there are just a bunch of questions that are already filled out for you to, create your quiz off of, which is awesome. You'll see here, and let me zoom in a little bit more here for you. You'll see here that there's a bunch of different answer choices that you can have here. So you're automatically going to need to have at least two answers here. So whether that be a multiple choice or a true or false, something like that. And then you do have the option to do 4 additional options as well. So the question, the Q1, Q2 is going to be there by default. And then you would just come in here and, either copy or type in the questions, all of the answers. And then over here, which is really cool, you have some follow-up text to reinforce your answer. Here at EdUp, we definitely recommend including this in here. Because again, it's going to help reinforce, your core message around the question. It's going to help your learners retain that knowledge for you. Okay. So right now, what I'm going to do, and give me a moment to zoom back out for a moment. What I'm going to do for this demo here is I'm going to just copy and paste these questions here into the Fill Me Out tab. And these questions that we have here are all based around cybersecurity. Okay, great. And as I scroll down,
and Bobby, in that column I, that's where we're choosing the correct answer.
Oh, yes.
We want, right?
Correct. So if I just click on this drop down arrow in all of these cells in column I, you can choose which one will be your correct answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So now that I have this, all filled out here, I'm just going to save it. And because this is a cybersecurity quiz, I'm just going to name it cybersecurity RR for rapid refresh. Hit save.
And I guess, Bobby, you could probably come back to this later on, right? If you wanted to continue to evolve your question sheet, you could save it to your files and you could add more questions later on, or you could go back and edit new files and just upload that. Or is it, yeah?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, say if you wanted to, 6 months from now, upload the same quiz, or
Right.
as you were saying, add a couple more questions onto it and upload it at a later date, you can definitely do that,
Right. Okay.
which is awesome.
Cool.
All right, cool. So now I'm just going to choose the file because now that I've downloaded the template and edited it, it will let me upload this. Let me go to my desktop. I'll go to my cybersecurity RR file, open, and you'll see here that only .xlsx files are accepted, and it's a maximum of 50 megabytes. I'm just going to hit upload file. It said hang tight, and it's already good to go, which is great. So now I'm going to click on next. I'm going to give it a title. Name it cybersecurity quiz. And for a description, I'm just going to name it March refresh. Going to go ahead and click on next. So here the quiz frequency is weekly. Again, so this is where you're going to define the quiz schedule, and this is where you're going to want to schedule it out. So let's say that we want to schedule in advance. So say I wanted to start it on March 8th and have it run for 3 weeks. It'll end on Friday the 26th. And you'll see here, based on your pool of 15 questions, this will contain 3 sessions with approximately 5 questions per session, which is great. That's what we want. I'm going to go ahead and click on next here. And this is just a review of all of the information that I have filled out beforehand. So here you'll see if it's a one-time instant upload or if it's a space session, you'll see the uploaded file, how many questions there are, the title and description, and just gives you a recap of the scheduling piece here. Down here, if you have any questions, it brings you right to our support article on rapid refresh, which is great. All right, I think we're all set here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on create quiz. And automatically, you'll see that it's published. And for those of you that are familiar with that app already, you'll see that some of these tabs are kind of familiar to how our lessons or courses are structured. But I'm going to break all this down for you. So on this main quiz tab here, it's going to have your quiz summary. So again, this is just going to summarize what you specified when you uploaded it. Here you can toggle on or off a leaderboard. Here at app, we're going to encourage that gamification that Jamie had mentioned before. So we would encourage you to leave that on. And then here is where you can change the device preview. So say if you'd like to change it to an iPhone X, you can do so there. We'll leave it for the iPhone 6, 7 here. And you'll see here that all scheduling settings will be locked after the start date. So if you do an instant upload quiz, again, you won't be able to change the settings. It'll just go out. All right, so here you'll see in the preview, for those of you that aren't familiar with that app, you can interact with some of the questions here. And here you'll see that reinforcement text that we had included in that Excel file, okay? So you can go through here, you can preview them all to get, what the learner's experience would look like. I am going to show you what it's going to look like in the web app later on. But again, this is just a great preview. And what's great too is you'll see that, it's automatically branded. So we have this little clock logo here. We have the blue background here as well, which is awesome. So again, it's going to save you a lot of time because it's already going to look great right out of the box. All right. I'm going to access some of these tabs now. So if I go to branding, you'll see here, for those of you that are familiar with our authoring tool, that the branding tab is going to look just like our lesson and course tab. For those of you that aren't familiar with that app, we do have this built-in Canva integration. I'm not going to get too crazy into this here, but I am going to show you what it would look like to just change the background, right? So I'm going to go here, and again, for those of you that aren't familiar with Canva, it's great. You can have a lot of images for royalty free. You can also sign up for a pro subscription where you can get even more images, which is awesome. So I'm going to select this image right here because this is a cybersecurity course. I'm going to set it as background. Hit publish, and then in a snap, you will see that the background has changed. So when I go back to my quiz here, you'll see that this image that I just uploaded from Canva is now the background. All right. Don't want to get too much into branding because I'm going to show you some other examples of a fully branded course for Rapid Refresh later on. But I do want to hit this access rules tab and go over this a little bit. So if your global settings are set to universal access, this is automatically going to be checked. So what this means is anyone that has that is in your account will see this right away, or whenever you schedule it for on that date, it'll pop up in the Learners app. If I uncheck this will allow me to assign certain user groups to this rapid refresh test. So if you wanted to have, just, certain people, so I know Jamie had mentioned before, say there were some users that went to a conference and the conference was all about cybersecurity. What you can do is say, if you wanted just to have this, my users East Coast, say these are your East Coast IT team, you can just click on there, and then it will, only the people in this user group will be able to see this rapid refresh quiz, which is great. I'm just going to check that back and check universal access. And what's also great too is you can also set prerequisites here. So again, if you wanted to be able to, make sure that the rapid refresh quiz isn't accessible until your users complete this benefits of corporate team building course, again, you have the flexibility to do so here, which is awesome. All right, I'm going to go to the scheduling tab here. So this is going to look new for those of you that are familiar with that app. So this is just again just a brief summary of what you filled out before. But if you schedule it ahead of time, it does give you the opportunity to change the dates or the session frequency as well. Okay, and again, like I mentioned before, like say that we decided that, oh, we don't want to space it out, we only want this to go for 1 week, right? If I change the date here and go back to quiz, you'll see here that my sessions have changed. So now I only have one session for 15 questions because it's only in a 1 week session. So again, you're not going to have to do any of this math or any of these calculations in your head before time ahead of time. Our system will automatically take care of that for you, which is awesome. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move on to show you some other examples of this rapid refresh now. So if I go back into my courses page here, I'm going to show you the safety recertification rapid refresh that we did. So the use case for this one is for Qantas. So you'll see here that we have the Qantas logo here, and some a background of clouds, because they're in aviation, which is great. And you'll see here that for this one, that it's just a one session, and it's lasting for 1 week here, and the leaderboard is enabled. Okay, and the reason why I wanted to bring this up is, as Jamie said, say if you have some users that need to be recertified, the dreaded compliance, as Jamie said, it's a great way to, make sure that they're refreshed on some items that, maybe popped up 6 months ago, or, again, if they just attended a conference, or if you want to, make sure that they're recertified on certain questions, this is a great way to do so. And it doesn't take, practically it takes no time at all, which is awesome. All right, so I'm not going to go through the preview in this one, but the reason why I want to bring this up is because for this particular quiz, we have some analytics associated with it. So if I go to the analytics tab here and go to rapid refresh. So for those of you that are familiar with that app, this is a brand new tab here in the performance analytics. If I go ahead and click on rapid refresh, it's going to bring up all of the rapid refresh quizzes that you have created in your account. And what's great about this is not only can you see it on screen, but you can full screen it, and you can export it into a PDF or an image or spreadsheet, which I'm sure, most of our clients are going to be exporting into a spreadsheet, which is great. But this report is going to look a little different than some of our other analytics reports. So if I go ahead and click on the safety recertification one, and again, what's great is that it also has the frequency and the start date and end date here. If I go ahead and click on safety recertification, you'll see here that it breaks down question by question for every user if they got it correct or if they got it incorrect. So you'll see here that if there's a circle, that means unattempted, an X is for incorrect, and a check mark is for correct. Okay. And here you'll see all the learners. You'll see that their total score and the time spent as well. And what's great too, say if you have hundreds and hundreds of learners that took a rapid refresh, you can just come here and just filter by one person. Okay. Here's that export button that I mentioned before. So again, you can export into 4 different types of files. And again, what's great about this too is that you'll see here that for this safety recertification quiz, a lot of people got question 4 wrong. So this is a great way to maybe go back and maybe have a quick session, or at your next company meeting, you can review the questions that a lot of users got wrong, or you can re-enroll them in some courseware using our user group function. So if you wanted to come to the users tab and go to user groups and create a new user group, and say it was safety recertification part 2, or enroll them in some other courseware that you already have in your account, or re-enroll them if they've completed it already. This is a great way to do that. So again, this is our rapid refresh analytics page. And again, it's under the analytics tab and in the performance section here under rapid refresh. All right. All right, great. So I did want to show you one more thing here. So I'm going to now go to the Hilton Honors Quiz. This is another rapid refresh that we had uploaded beforehand. And you'll see here that this is a quick 4-question quiz. And the branding is really awesome. And the reason why I wanted to bring this one up is, like Jamie mentioned before, this would be a great way to refresh your employees on, in this case, it would be the rewards program. So again, this could just be a quick refresher because, say, new hire orientation happened and, 2 months go by, some employees might forget what they were trained on, in their orientation, if it's not supplemented with some additional content. So this is a great way to, refresh to make sure that all of their employees are on the same page. So for this one, what I want to show you here is the Learners app. So here, this is the Learners view. And you'll see here that the rapid refresh quizzes, I have 4 of them up here, are going to pop up top above all of the courseware here. Okay. So you'll see here that I have 4 in my account, and this is what's going to look like from an iPhone X view. And I'm going to go ahead and launch this Hilton Honors Quiz. So what's great here is, again, all the branding carries over. I'm just going to go ahead and answer some of these questions. It's a 4-question quiz, so it's not going to take too long. Okay. And on the last question here, and you'll see here that there is a leaderboard here. So right now I have the same score as Justina here. And as more people, answer these questions, the leaderboard is going to populate with more and more responses. And the leaderboard will end on the end date that's specified in the admin account, which is great. Okay. One more thing to keep in mind here is that once they take the quiz, you'll see that it disappeared from the learner's view here. And some other things I just wanted to mention here is that it will mention how many questions that there are and the average time it should take to complete. And then if there's more than one session. So in our example, because we scheduled 3 sessions, in the Learners app, it will show, the first session would show as 1 of 3. Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to show you. Jamie, do you have any other comments? Anything that you think that I should, go over again, or you think we're all good here?
No, I love that, Bobby. I thought that was great. And I think it really demonstrated how easy the whole process of setting up a rapid refresh can be, and also how visually pleasing, like everything in EdApp, the content can look, with very simple branding tools that everyone who's experienced in EdApp will know about. In seconds you can create something that looks really beautiful and obviously has a genuine impact, right? Great, and I love the demonstration of the leaderboard. That's the first time I've seen that, Bobby, and
Yeah,
I
it's
love
cool.
how quickly everything updates there. So super cool. We've picked up some just a bunch of questions in chat as we go through. So I think before we jump off, Bobby, I'm just going to have a look through here,
Sure.
and we'll just try and tackle some of these questions. So. This is somewhat dangerous because I'm not pre-reading before I just start reading here, but you do have a fan in David Howard, Bobby. You should know that. He celebrated you and your work there. So,
Oh, good.
question from Mark here: how would the data and analytics show for different groups? I have several companies, each one is a group. How would one RR show the data for all? So. Is that something you're able to show us now, Bobby, the different groups?
So for the as of right now in the first iteration, you can only filter by learner. So I would recommend when you assign the courseware, maybe to do 2 if you wanted to schedule out to some other different groups here. So say for this one here, and again, this is just for the time being. Again, you'll be able to filter by user group at a later date, but for now, it might be a good idea to maybe upload 2 of them if you want two user groups for you to see it easily in analytics here. Otherwise, again, it's going to have everyone from all of the user groups pop up here.
Okay, that's good advice. Yeah, I think, and that probably speaks a little bit to kind of where we're at, right? There have been some questions about scheduling, whether you can choose specific times of the day. We are expecting iterative improvements to follow relatively quickly. Today, what you can do is you can schedule obviously by day. And from my understanding, it aligns with the time that you published and created it. So if you're going to go ahead and create that at 9 a.m., then that's the time that it's going to go out, even if you set it to go out in 2 weeks' time. We do
That is correct.
More, as I say, more iterations to follow. And actually, these events are a really good opportunity for us to get that feedback and figure out how we need to improve it. But today, it's a super, I think it's already a super cool tool. And like I say, it's been adopted by a bunch of businesses who are loving what it can do for them. So, so let's just have a quick look here. So can you make another rapid refresh a prerequisite for training? I think what you can definitely do is you can deploy these to understand where people are at in their learning journey and where their knowledge gaps are, and use the analytics again. That's a question from Andy, who's shared a few thoughts here. Andy, I'm going to look forward to talking to you, but you clearly got lots of ideas about how it can work. And I think we'll probably need to take some of these and go away and just think about when they can be ready. But, the idea here, what we're striving towards today, it's a super effective and easy way of testing competence, reinforcing understanding. As we progress and evolve, we're expecting it to become, much more complex, not from an administration or management perspective, but in terms of the way that it can be deployed and utilized in business. So just having a quick look here. Is Rapid Refresh available to persons on the free plan? Asks Adrian. Adrian, that's a very good question. I don't know the answer. Bobby, do you know the answer? We might need to come back to you, Adrian, to let you know.
I do know that answer, and the answer is yes. It's available for all users, even those in the free plan.
Go Bobby! Thank goodness for Bobby, right? Bobby knows all the answers, so that's cool. One off quiz, the leaderboard disappears. There was a question around whether you could use the same questions again, and you know, again, with as Bobby demonstrated, you are able to save your Excel spreadsheet, and as we talked about earlier, there's absolutely nothing restricting you from going back, amending them, or even just using the same quizzes again. You know, there's no unique identifier for that download and upload process.
Yeah, I mean, even at the same time, if you wanted to, you know, upload the same quiz twice and then have one go out now and schedule one for like later in the year, you can do that also.
Yeah, cool. Dom says the whole app is awesome. You guys are way ahead of anything else I've seen. Dom, I couldn't agree more, buddy.
Nice.
Thank you for that. And where will our staff data be kept? Asking for GDPR regulations, says Geraldine. Geraldine, we love to talk about GDPR. We are GDPR compliant. And if you want to find out anything about that, then I'm going to include our contact details at the end of the session. You can just go ahead and drop a message to one of us or hit live chat, and we'll give you all of our GDPR info. So is it possible to embed rapid refresh within an LMS like Canvas? So rapid refresh is capability within our platform. We can obviously, as part of an integrated learning ecosystem, give you the capability that your learning management systems don't, or we can work completely autonomously. What we can't do is kind of give you that technology for you to put onto another system. Is it possible to create some conditions based off results? For example, if an employee scores 6 or less, they are sent reading resources or pushed a course to read it again. Really interesting, and we were talking about that earlier. So that's a question from Kelly. So Kelly, today, as Bobby demonstrated, we've got a really clear set of analytics that shows what people have and haven't understood or correctly answered. The way that you know, many of our customers are starting to use that is just a very quick way of doing a temperature check. What do people understand, what they don't, and if they don't, or if they're misunderstanding in certain areas, then it's an intervention opportunity where you can do some more targeted learning. So that's where we're reducing that need, for example, with annual compliance training, because hey, if everyone understands AML, why make them do an hour of AML training, right? Equally, if they don't, then that's a risk for your business. So why wait until December to do that AML training? Why not move that forward and have a coach to experience with whichever individual or community, you know, don't get the rules, right? Brilliant. I think that's all the questions. So we're gonna now jump across and I'm just gonna talk to a couple of the use cases that we've seen evolving so far. I did say I anticipated we'd be finished in 20 minutes, but actually we're still going, which I'm going to take as a good sign, because there's been really good engagement today. So just some of the examples that we've seen so far. We've seen Amazon using rapid refresh and preparing to deliver that as part of a kind of conference follow-up. We're seeing Qantas for recertification, exactly how I described, so mitigating the need for heavy, time-intensive compliance training by testing, understanding quickly. We've got the wonderful Pernod Ricard using it as teasers, actually, to get people excited about training in advance, helping them to understand where their knowledge gaps are. We've got Hilton. We've already seen Bobby did an example of the rewards training that's linked to. The wonderful Nike. Nike, if you're on the call, please feel free to send me some free trainers. I love you. You're better than Reebok. They're using EdApp for product knowledge training in their retail environments. Walmart are looking at procedural training and reinforcement. And then Progressive. Bobby, tell me a bit about Progressive. I'm not. Is that one you've been across? I saw that was one of the demo examples we had.
Yeah, that's an insurance agency over here in the US that a lot of the other sales guys like to use as like a as like a sample company. But
Okay, cool.
the use case for that town hall would just be and it's in our account too.
Yeah.
Would just be, you know, basically like customer service working remotely type questions. So that's what that one's all about.
All right, cool. So, you know, you can see a really varied group of organizations there using it for a very, you know, for various purposes, right? Like what we want to do with all of you guys who've been kind enough to spend your time with us this afternoon is help you to continue to find new ways to use and apply rapid refresh. And obviously we want to give you all the support you need in terms of getting you set up. So hopefully Bobby's demonstrated how easy it is. We've got drop-in sessions, you know, taking place that you can find on our website. Therefore, authoring sessions for rapid refresh testing. We've got our live chat, which operates kind of 24/6.5. I feel, you know, at some point, maybe on a Sunday afternoon, we're a little bit sleepy, but for the rest of the week, we're there. And that's operated by human beings who diagnose your you know questions and share screens with you. And then if any of you do want to, you know, talk GDPR, then sadly I have to volunteer myself for the EMEA region. You can also contact the fantastic Luke, who's looking after Australia and US, and Chris Lemon. And then, of course, how can we forget Bobby and also Molly, who's quietly been working away in the background there, answering some of our questions. So you should have loads of support. There's stuff on the website. We've got 24/6.5 live chat. We've got wonderful customer success people. So we're really looking forward to seeing how you take this forward. We're looking forward to your feedback. Please make sure you give that to us. Yeah, we'd love to hear your stories. So I'm just going to wrap up and just see whether there's any more questions. No, it's looking good. So Bobby, anything you want to add before we let everyone go?
I don't think so. I would say you know, definitely reach out on live chat. Like Jamie said, they're real people. I'm one of them. We'll be on there. We'll be able to help you out.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.